Radio Raheem with Richard Schaefer, back in the promotion game big time. You've got a nice fight coming up on October 14th. Now, of course, we've seen both fighters up there. Even they had to talk about not having the opportunity to face each other. So, first of all, from your perspective, break down why we couldn't get Abner Mares and Leo Santa Cruz in the ring for October.
Well, you know, first and foremost, I think as a promoter, I have a responsibility to try to maximize the revenues for both fighters. And in this particular case, it became apparent that there was going to be substantially more money in the pot for both of those fighters to fight each other sometime in the first quarter of 2018. So in principle, there is a deal in place where both guys, assuming that they'll win October 14, will fight each other probably sometime in March of next year. And you know, so that's really in a nutshell what it is. I mean, why is that? Well, one of the reasons is that there was a lot of networks and sponsors and so on spent a lot of money in that third quarter of 2017 on a fight which nobody really thought was going to happen, which was Mayweather and McGregor. And so whether if it's foreign TV networks, you know, the Mayweather-McGregor fight did well around the world, I mean breaking records everywhere, and that basically took a lot of money off the table. And so we needed to make sure that, you know, when we negotiate the foreign rights fees for a Mayweather, for a Mares Santa Cruz or Santa Cruz Mares fight, that we are talking with foreign TV partners or with sponsors during the first quarter of next year when they have a replenished budget. And so it's pretty straightforward. There's going to be more money in the pot for the fighters, and that's what I want to do. I want to make sure that fighters are always properly compensated. And if it's a matter of waiting a few months, who cares? As long as we're going to see them fight. And believe me, I want to see them fight as much as everyone else wants to fight. But having said that, on October the 14th, to see two of the most exciting fighters, irrespective of weight class, performing on the same stage, from the same venue, from the famous War Grounds at the Stop-Up Center in Carson, for as little as $30, is actually quite a treat for the fight fans as well.
Now, McGregor-Mayweather's obviously a huge success financially, budget-wise. There's no question these guys, you know, broke the bank. The question, though, is it a one-off, or is this MMA boxing crossover back and forth kind of? We've heard now boxers calling Dana White, trying to get into MMA, and MMA fighters like Jose Aldo thinking like, hey, maybe I can box. Do you think that that's like a new promotional angle, or was this thing just like a once-in-a-lifetime?
Well, you know, I think the fact that the fight turned out to be substantially better than anyone anticipated, and McGregor really did an amazing showing, and the fight fans embraced it, and the UFC fans embraced it, and the UFC fans can be proud on how well their man did, and the boxing fans have the bragging rights that their man won, and you know, if you look at this, it's a $100 pay-per-view, and you know, usually after a pay-per-view, so there are always some people, they complain. They were unhappy about this, unhappy about that. But you know what? With this fight, I haven't read any comment, anybody complaining. Everybody was happy. Everybody was satisfied that it was a great night of entertainment. And so could I see potentially other events? Yes. Do I see anything like, right, oh, we need to see this or we need to see that? I don't see that. I think it's gonna, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen again, just like it happened with Mayweather and McGregor, where really the fight fans demanded the fight, and you know, so I could see that again.
What about a pure boxing match? No event coming whatsoever, but two guys that are really pugilists, Lomachenko and Rigondeaux. They're signed to fight. This is going to happen. Well, how do you think that fight shakes out?
Oh, I think it's a terrific fight. I think it's great to see that on ESPN. I think Top Rank and Bob, I wish him all the best. To have 4 gold medals between two guys in the ring, I think is unheard of. Both two-time Olympic gold medalists. I mean, these are guys which perform at the highest level of the sport. I think personally that Lomachenko is going to win the fight because he might just be a bit too big, too strong, for Rigondeaux, but then, you know, how can you count out Rigondeaux? I mean, one of the best and, you know, most skillful fighters. It's a fascinating matchup. Very excited about it.
We just saw a few days ago, right outside these doors, Canelo Alvarez and Triple G training for the fans, showing the media what they've got. How do you think, now that we've seen their camps are done, a lot of the talking's been done, what do you think that fight lands? Who's going to win it?
I really think it's a 50-50 fight. If the fight would have happened a year ago, I probably would have picked Golovkin, as most media and most experts would have. I think if you ask today, a lot of people I talk to, they are picking Canelo to win. I think they're basing their pick on the last two performances of Golovkin. Is he getting old? I think I wouldn't put too much weight into that. I think if you are somebody like Golovkin, waiting for this opportunity, this is his signature fight. This is for him the legacy of his career. He is motivated, he has been training hard, and he will be at his best, no question about it. If Golovkin's best today is enough to beat a young and hungry Canelo, remains to be seen. I think it's a fascinating matchup. I thought as well for a long time that was going to be the bigger and stronger Golovkin against the smaller and not weaker, but not as powerful opponent with Canelo. But when I saw some recent footage, you know, I think Canelo might actually be, or not only might, will be the bigger man that night going into the fight. And so, you know, I mean, it's one of those fights, one of those pay-per-views I'm going to buy.
And lastly, we just saw that Pulev and Joshua signed. We're expecting Wilder and Ortiz. Obviously, the winners of those two fights face each other. But, you know, we just saw Joshua get knocked down, too, against Klitschko. Wilder's coming back off of an injury, like he should be fresh. Who's the best heavyweight in boxing right now?
Well, I think you have to say it's actually it's a good. I think the best today, if they would all sort of like fight each other, I would say it's Deontay Wilder, and because he I think is very skilled boxer. He has a big punch. You know, some people have questioned his chin, but you know, when you see what he did against Stavern, you know, I think it made those people believers as well, because he did take some pretty heavy punches from Stavern. So I think the weakness of his chin is overrated. So I have to say it is Deontay Wilder. And then you have Joshua, you know, so that's why I was pausing for a second. Is it Joshua, is it Wilder? I think it would be a great fight, but I have to say, if Wilder is going to fight Ortiz, that's a great fight as well. And Pulev, the Bulgarian, you can never count out as well. So there's some, you know, finally the heavyweight division, there is excitement in the heavyweight division again, and that is one of the reasons why at Ringstar I put some particular focus on signing some heavyweights as well, including the Olympic gold medalist, super heavyweight Tony Yoka, the Olympic silver medalist, super heavyweight Joe Joyce, who many believe will be the next heavyweight champion. He's going to do his pro debut in a 10-rounder. That's how advanced he is on October the 21st. He's 30 years old. And then the biggest puncher, the guy who got the #1 knockout from the Olympics, the Nigerian sensation Efe. And he is training now with Ronnie Shields in Houston. So I believe the heavyweight division is going to become, and is quickly becoming, one of the most exciting divisions in the sport.
There's always a debate about who's the best fighter, pound for pound, and then promoters always claim that they have the biggest draw. But if you could sign one fighter, anybody, you could just go in and grab your hand in the bag and say, I got this guy. Who would that one fighter be?
Oh, that's very easy. That's a very easy answer. That's going to be the next pay-per-view star who will be the face of the sport, who is bilingual, and can fight. Man, can this guy fight. And just like I helped Oscar to record purses, and I helped Floyd Mayweather to record purses, I hope if there would be that bag, you know, I hope I could pull him out, and that night would be Mikey Garcia.
Radio Raheem with Richard Schaefer. Always a pleasure, man. Can't wait to see you on October 14th. Abner Moores in the ring, Leo Santa Cruz in the ring, Chris Avila, Gutierrez. It's going to be a great night of fights. Can't wait to see you there.